Hello everybody, it's Matt with Techology. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video. I'm not going to make it, but hopefully you do. So today we're in the classroom here, and I've got a little math / history lesson for you. And of course there'll be a moral to the story as well. So today we're going to talk about pie. Now, I'm not talking about apple pie or cherry pie or rhubarb or lemon, although lemon is pretty good. We're going to talk about pi, 3.14, how to figure the circumference of a circle. All right? Now, we'll kick into the history part. So pi was originally, best we know was from history, it was figured out by Archimedes over 2,000 years ago. And back then, if you were as smart as he was, or you were an artist, such as Da Vinci or someone like that, about the best way you could make a living was work for the king, the emperor, Caesar, Grand Poobah, whoever was in charge. And you would get tasked with city projects and empire projects and stuff like that. So Archimedes was tasked with building the first round Roman Colosseum. And Archimedes, of course, being as smart as he was, he knew that, the human eye was more than capable of seeing if something was out of round or not center. And up until this point, a round building hadn't really been built in, in the ways that Roman people constructed things. So it was kind of a big deal. And more than likely, if you were one of those fellas, you didn't want to really goof that job up because it could be off with your head. So he took it pretty seriously. So Archimedes had a plan of attack, and this is part of the moral of the story. It's a great way to have a plan of attack for problems that you come across. He starts, with looking at a problem and then figuring out, I'm going to start with what I know. And once I figure out everything I know about this problem, then I can be worried or concerned about the things I don't know. So he knew that this Colosseum, they had requested a certain diameter of it, correct? That sound good? So it had a specific diameter. All right? Well, being a specific diameter, he knew that he had 4 points already determined that he could measure. But to make a circle, 4 points aren't enough. So what he done is he drew a square around his drawing of this circle. So he had established his 4 points that he could measure. Okay? Well, again, 4 points aren't enough. So what he did then is he had the forethought to draw another square rotated basically at 45 degrees. Now at this time, he didn't really, degrees weren't a thing, but that's what he done. We know that now. This give him 8 points of measure. 8's better than 4, but it's still not enough to make something round. So what he did then was rotated and drew another square. And he kept doing this until he got 90 squares. All right, so 90 squares. Let me erase this real quick. 90 squares that were the size of the diameter that he needed. Now, why is 90 important? Well, knowing what we know now, we know that a square is 4 90-degree corners. All right? Now, what's 4 times 90? Well, if you don't know, 4 times 90 is 360. So you see, by drawing those 90 squares in rotation like he did, what he ended up with was 360 teeny tiny little square lines that drew his circle. So the math actually drew his circle for him. And it's just a really simplistic but genius at the same time. And this was how the first round Roman Colosseum got built, so that they could have their chariot races. And I think it's a really interesting story. I hope you do too. You know, it's kind of a neat thing to be, if you were Archimedes, that people 2,000 years later and farther than 2,000, it's been more than 2,000 years since he walked the earth, we are still using his mathematical formulas and the things that he come up with. You know, that's pretty dadgum cool. And remember too, his plan of attack. Start off with what you know, figure all that out, and then worry about what you don't know. And the problem might work itself out, like it did for Archimedes when he was trying to figure out what pi was. All right, y'all have a good day. Work hard, save your money.